What is going on, you guys? My name is Charles. This is the Traders Corner podcast. Welcome back. So, today we're going to be talking about if we were to get started today, right? So, basically, go back in time. If we were to get started again, what are some things we might do? Things we might do differently, things we like that, things that we thought we did well when we got started, all those good things. Today, got my friend Daniel with me. So, we're going to be talking with Daniel, asking him some questions about how he got started, how he felt about that. Obviously, he's going to be turning that back on me as well. But just before we get started with that, I just wanted to say, just in general, kind of like who I am in terms of trading. So, I've been learning to trade for about 4 years now, right? So, I say learning to trade very carefully because I think there's a very big difference between learning to trade and being live in the market. I've been live in the market going on 3 years, 2.5 years about now. So yeah, that's basically who I am in terms of trading. Daniel's basically the same timeline, just a few months behind me. So yeah, like I said, been learning to trade for about 4 years now. So in that time, we've learned a lot, right? And so there have definitely been some ups and been some downs, but definitely there's some easily avoidable mistakes that both Daniel and I have made, right? And we hope to maybe pull some of those out today, right? I think one of the biggest issues that I have and I've tried to work on to this point has been accountability. Now, I think I've become a lot better about accountability, and I think it wasn't so much that I wasn't an accountable person because where me and Daniel actually met is actually on the soccer team at Howard, and being an athlete, a former athlete, you kind of do have to be self accountable a lot, especially to get to certain levels. You can't get to those levels without any type of accountability. But I wasn't willing to put it on my trading, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've been able to do is put that accountability on my trading, going forward, right? And not only that, but it was really just having a community around me that was able to do that. You know what I mean? And so not only being around Daniel and also our friend Isaiah, who's also, on the soccer team with us, who was on the soccer team with us at the time, but two other athletes who, again, you're not going to be able to get to that point if you're not going to be accountable with yourself. But also the communities I was able to join while getting started, they were very, very good about not just being, good about accountable for trading, but also just your life, right? So with that, not only just, finding that community, but also some traders on YouTube, what have you, right? That you can just learn a lot of stuff from, one of them being, for example, Falcon Trading Guidance. I really like the community a lot, right? So eventually, even though I spent time with Falcon Trading Guidance and I started with the community before that who didn't really prioritize the community aspect, and Daniel knows exactly what I'm talking about in terms of Urban Forex. Eventually, I moved away from Falcon Trading Guidance to learn some different technical concepts, specifically really around, like, if you've seen it on YouTube, I'm sure you have if you're into trading. It's called ICT. So I've been learning stuff from ICT's concepts for going on a year and a half and a year and some change now. So yeah, so that's kind of where the strategy is based now, and that's kind of where I'm at now. And besides that, I'm taking like a challenge account at the moment, trying to eventually pass that challenge account, hopefully get funded for $100,000 account. So that is basically where we're at in terms of since we're talking about getting started to where we are today, anything we might have changed. Just want to give a brief intro on basically where we're at today, right? Daniel, I don't know if you want to give any insight of where you're at. I know I kind of spoke to the fact that like we've kind of been learning for a little bit at the same time, right? So like kind of the only thing that might really change is where we started to learn from different, individuals. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, like you said, been doing this about 3.5 to 4 years. Like I'm a few months behind you, but um, and it is. I like that you made the distinction between learning to trade and actually trading in the markets because that two completely different things, right? I've been learning to trade for like 4 years, but I've been trading for roughly two. So yeah, beginning of the pandemic. So like yeah, 2 years, and I like there was a massive learning curve just trading live, right? So I think that there it's a completely different beast. Um, so one thing that I would have changed with my trading journey is probably jumping into that earlier because I know I would have like my trading knowledge didn't really start until I started trading live, if that makes sense. Like
All right.
you can learn the concepts, you can learn all the other stuff, but you're not really gonna understand everything until you put it into practice. So like an example I use all the time is like lot size. My first trade, and I think you were talking about it with your challenge account. I made
Yep.
the exact same mistake. My first ever trade. on with my Awanda account back like at the beginning of the pandemic. I didn't realize that the lot size. I mean, I understood the concept of lot size, but like I put
In the
the
platform, you didn't
completely
understand it.
different
Yeah.
alongside. Yeah, I didn't realize that it was based off of like I wanted a percentage of my account, but I just put a standard lot, not a standard lot, a micro lot or a mini. I forget exactly what it was, but I put the wrong lot size instead of making it a percentage of my account based off of the amount of pips that was my stop loss,
Right.
right? So my um, my I actually lost a lot more money than I should have, and then I'm just starting the game in drawdown. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you're not learning that, if you don't know that, if you've never experienced that, then you kind of don't really understand
The mistake
how
you made
lot
and how
size
to,
works.
and how to fix
Yeah,
it.
like
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you, yeah, and I kind of fix it. And I had to actually calculate. Oh, what do I need for 1% of my account? Okay, my account is let's say $100,000. So 1% of that, $1,000. So that means if I have a 20 pip stop loss, then these 20 pips have to be worth $1,000. Have I lost all 20 of these pips? You know what I mean? So like figuring out how to calculate the correct stop losses and stuff like that. That's just one example that I use all the time. And yeah, that's definitely something I would have liked to learn earlier, just jumping into the market earlier. And in regards to my journey, like, and what I mean by that is where I learned from. I think it was fine because my first ever um, exposure to forex was you bringing it to me, and then talking about. I think we took the Investopedia course, and then we went to Baby Pips, and then we went to Urban Forex. And that first Urban Forex course, I'm glad that I took that. Although I don't trade that style now, I'm glad that I have a background in that because I understand price action, right?
Hmm.
And then I tried to develop a strategy with that, but we found out very quickly that just because I understood the concepts that they were teaching me, I didn't understand how to develop a strategy, and that's why I actually went to ASFX. So I Boston Silver's course, Joe's community, all that. I have nothing but positive words to say for that guy. He's part of the reason why I am in the position I am now as a trader, right? So yeah, I took his course. His course was great, and like he did have a strategy right out of the box. But I think the biggest thing I took from his course was how he approached strategy development and like what a complete strategy entailed, right? So once I figured that out, I kind of I traded that style for a while, and then I ended up coding my own bot that also traded alongside of me while I was trading that the ASFX style. But since then, I took a bit of a hiatus, and then I actually created my own strategy. So the big benefit that I got from his strategy from his course was the strategy development, and using that, I created my own strategy, which still use today. And yeah, so in terms of my trading journey, I wouldn't have changed anything. The only thing that I really would have changed was jumping in a bit earlier, maybe like getting my feet wet a little bit earlier. And you mentioned Isaiah, like that's one thing. I've taught we've all had this conversation with Isaiah multiple times. You know, he's been learning to trade the same amount of time that we have, but for one reason or another, he hasn't been able to, pull the trigger and start trading live yet. And that like he completely understands the concept whenever we do backtesting sessions and accountability sessions. He's there with us at a high level. He can understand what we're doing on the charts. But it's like I said before, it's a different beast when you're actually trading live. So yeah, that's the only thing I really changed about my journey so far.
Um, I